Hi, it's Dr. D. Welcome. In this video, I'm going to share with you some ways in which you can become less emotionally needy. But before I get to that, I just want to share with you that this is my most popular blog. It creates and generates the most traffic and the most comments month after month. And so I feel like there's something there that's going on with people that they really feel needy. And I want to help you and others get to a place where you don't feel that way. So let's get started. Now, it's a human instinct, a human drive to need other people. There isn't anything wrong with that. We just need people in our lives. We are social creatures, and that's a very natural way of being. However, many people become overly needy in relationships, and this becomes very problematic in these relationships. And so what are some of the characteristics or some of the commonalities with people that show up who are needy in relationships? Well, first, they might want to merge and fuse with that person very quickly early on in the relationship. They might have had parents who were unstable in the way that they provided care, and so now they have an anxious attachment, and those parents might have been kind of unpredictable and create uncertainty in the way that they raised you. Other commonalities are that you might need constant reassurance, and that you're feeling overly emotional, and that you also have to be reassured about what's going on in the relationship and what the status is of the relationship. And so you come across as really being needy, excessively needy, and wanting to know all these things. And you might be on social media a lot and tracking this person or looking what they're doing. And it's very difficult for you to step away from that and become less needy and less anxious in these relationships. And so for the partner, how do they feel? Well, oftentimes these partners will feel trapped or overwhelmed or claustrophobic, and they might also have a tendency to want to avoid. So now you're setting up this pattern of this anxious avoidant attachment pattern in a relationship, or it's also referred to as, or it's very similar to, the pursuer-distancer, right? So the more that you pursue, the more that person distances themselves in the relationship. And there's that dynamic. But all is not lost. There are things that you can do that will help you to feel better about yourself in this relationship, and that will put you on a different path to feeling less needy. And I want to share a few of those ways with you. One, just being aware of that, just being aware that you're needing a relationship is an important first step. The other thing you can start to do is to identify your triggers. We all have them. They're like these triggers that possibly how we were raised or in previous relationships, that it's a visceral reaction, and we all have them. It could be, it could be a place or another person or a feeling, or it could really be any kind of object. It could be anything that's going to create this trigger in us that's going to make us feel anxious. Maybe when you have experience where maybe another partner hasn't shown up, or maybe they haven't followed through, and then you start to mistrust that person, and maybe something's happened in the relationship. So then the next time that person doesn't follow up or maybe text you or call, you start to get anxious. That's a trigger. So the important thing is to be able to identify what those triggers are, so that you can start to create a different path for yourself. The other thing you can do is you can also learn to build up the trust, and think, okay, is this a fact or a feeling? Ask yourself, something comes up, is it a fact or a feeling? Whatever your anxious thought is, your anxious feeling is, it's probably just a feeling, and that's okay. So the goal is to kind of be aware, be present, right? Be with that feeling. And sometimes you got to sit on your hands, you got to bite your tongue, not to do something and not to react. And that's going to help you move through your anxiety better. It's going to help you to move through that anxious moment better. Because what happens is you have like this obsessive thought, like something's going on, I can't trust him, something's going on, I have to figure something out. And then your compulsion is to act on it, text or call or do something. So in order to get better at that, to manage your anxious feelings, you learn how to sit with that and be present. And like I said, fact or feeling, sit on your hands, bite your tongue, whatever you have to do. Now, initially, that anxiety probably goes through the roof, but over time, and trusting yourself and learning how to do that, eventually your anxiety will come down, and you will become more secure in this relationship and with yourself. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to show up, and you have to be willing to take actionable steps to overcome it. There's lots of books out there and lots of articles and blogs that will help you do this very same thing, aside from the couple that I've written. There's lots of people who have shared their experiences and will give you tools and tips on how to overcome this and become less needy in relationships so that you can show up in a way that you feel not just secure but healthier. You're creating that interdependent relationship with that person. Time together, time apart's okay. And that helps you become a more secure person with yourself and definitely feeling less anxious. And finally, another thing you can do is talk to your partner. Share with them, hey, these are the things that are coming up. Can we have a conversation? Can we talk about these things? These things sometimes are really hard for me, and I don't really know where they're coming from. Or maybe you do know where they're coming from, but I really want to get better. I want to be a more secure person. I don't want to be as anxious as I have been. And when we can create that safe space and we can just talk with our partner about how we're feeling, it really makes us feel better about the relationship. But more importantly, it makes us feel better about ourselves because we feel like we're taking the steps to do what we need to do to get better. And I hope that helps. Always, you can reach me either through a DM or on Instagram. You can, leave a comment here on this channel. I would love to hear from you. And I hope all that information helps. Thanks again.